So for me, my shoulders and my back are quite tight, so I actually have a wider position, hand position. Whereas you'll see some females that have really good shoulder mobility, they'll actually almost have their hands inside their shoulder width. So I actually literally can't do it.
Sam, you can demonstrate that.
But they can get their shoulders well and truly far back. Whereas to me, I just have them positioned around there. But when getting in hand position, you always want to make sure you have your hands set equally on the bar and make sure they're nice and tight. Because the last thing you want to do is be squatting, the loose grip and the bar shifts in your hands, because that's going to change the center of gravity and it can either tip you forward or pull your hands right back. So having it locked in is really important. And in terms of bar position on your back, depending on the musculature you have, you can do what's called high bar position. So the bar actually sits really high on your back, so it's almost right on top of your traps. And that, in terms of technique, what happens is, because the bar is so high up, it's already inside your center of gravity. So when you squat, you're actually going to drive your knees forward further to keep yourself inside that center of gravity. Whereas for me, I squat with a low bar. So what happens is when I squat with a low bar position, it allows me to push my hips back further and the bar still stays inside my center of gravity. So the bar is positioned right over my midfoot. Whereas with high bar, if I were to go hips back, the bar would come straight over my midfoot and would push me forward. So that's kind of the difference in terms of technique. High bar, you have to push your shins forward, push your knees forward to keep that center of gravity. Whereas low bar, you kind of get that benefit of hips back and keeping it over the midfoot.
Yeah, and low bar too, from a biomechanical point of view, I mean, the longer a lever, the better speed you can get, but the less strength or power necessarily that you can generate. So if you're low bar squatting, it's the difference between here and here. So you're shortening the weight at the end of a lever, so that from a strength point of view, you can lift more with a low bar squat. However, some people really struggle with holding that position, getting their shoulders in the right position if you've got. So a lot of people end up squatting a little bit higher, and that's very individual, how high or how low that you can. The high bar squat's really good for athletic and vertical jumping because it's more of a balance, whereas a low bar squat it's almost back dominant.
It's very
you'll see a lot of powerlifters, they'll come down, they'll go here, they'll stand up, and then they'll almost pull the bar up. You know, like a deadlift with the bar on your back sometimes. In competitions, but at the end of the day, it's all about who can get the weight up into the lockout position and then get the lift called. So as long as the lift keeps going up in a powerlifting sense, that's fine. But you know, from an athletic point of view, that's why a lot of people do high bar squat, because it's better to increase your vertical jump. Yeah,
and high bar squat's far more quad dominant, whereas your low bar position's very lower back and glute dominant. And it also gives you that ability in terms of low bar to, like Glenn said, to grind it out, and you can keep it sitting there and grind it out. Whereas a high bar, if you're coming up, you can't grind, there's no lower back there. And it's better for speed, but once that momentum slows, you probably won't get it. But you can also find that happy medium, so I'm kind of a little bit between. I kind of have my hips back, but my knees are driving forward too, so I'm kind of that happy medium. So in terms of foot positioning, would you agree the wider you go, the more adductor and glute you get?
Yeah, and for people with less hip mobility, turning your feet out more opens the hip joint up more, and allows you to sit deeper.
So that's what, in terms of breaking parallel, or getting your hips below that knee level, when you turn your feet out, the wider you get, you can break that parallel point, whereas when they're further forward, it makes, this is a poor example because I've got shoes on, but it makes it harder to break that parallel point as well. It's also what feels comfortable for the person. If they're really tight in the glutes, generally turning your feet out help a lot. Whereas if they're weaker through the glutes, you'll generally find that they're better quad dominant squatter. But the squat is far more individual than the deadlift and the bench. you'll see squat technique varies so much from person to person, and a lot of people squat flat in powerlifting, and many people squat with the heel as well, but their technique might be the same. Just you would agree, it's extremely individual, and it comes down to coaching the person at what works best for you. And saying that, I'll get you it.
Do you want to put a bit of weight on, Zach, or?
Oh, I'll see that.
Yeah, right. Just wondering if you'll get down. See how sore you are.
It's quite good.
It is. He's born. Born to do it.
I would actually say probably just bring your stance in just about 1 inch.
Yeah.
I think that's going to just let you get a little bit more quad power, take a little bit more strain off your groin. Go try again. So do your normal setup. So normal setup. Now bring your feet probably just that fine fraction. Yeah. I think once that weight gets heavier, you'll have far more speed out the bottom.
That's pretty good.
Does that feel better?
Yeah.
Snap it out the bottom quick.
Yeah, you pop out that bottom a little bit better. It's going to take, just the wider you get, it's actually going to make it really hard on your groin to break parallel.
Yeah.
And in terms of hip mobility, it's very challenging. Whereas once you get that a little bit closer, you're compromising kind of shifting the weight, your hips straight down compared to a little bit closer, they're coming back a bit.
Yeah.
You're getting that power through your quads back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's going to get you more punch out the bottom, going to give you more speed. I think that'll be more specific to what you do as well.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I'll go last because mine are really bad.
Because you said that, you're going to go now.
That'd be right. Well,
Hey, she's smart. She's really quiet.